Hi, good afternoon. I'm Ted LeClair with Natixis Global Asset Management. I'm also a Kolbe consultant, something I'm very proud of. This video is for Kolbe Corp, and it's part of a nomination for an award, which I'd be honored to get, but actually humbled because I think anything I've ever done with Kolbe, it's because of Kolbe Corp. It's because how much I believe in what Kolbe Corp does. I passionately believe in the freedom to be yourself and trying to educate people about that and make them more self-aware, validate who they are, embrace who they are, and what makes them so great and so talented naturally for any part of their life. And I think for the purposes of the video, I'm going to try to keep this as short as a quick start, initiating quick start can. But there are three general areas that I think I've been able to really use what I've learned with Kolbe and as a consultant the last 8 years. In my private life at Natixis and in the Navy. I'm a Naval Reserve officer, and the interesting part of that is the last two commanding officers I've had, I've gotten both to take the Kolbe A index, and it turned out that both initiate in Fact Finder. I'm a 4.583. They both initiate in Fact Finder. One initiated in follow through, and one's a 6 in follow through. The resists and accommodates and follow through, resists and quick start. And so in both instances, in wanting to figure it out as we go and wanting to brainstorm and think out loud, it has been very, very challenging to have to report to people who have such a big ability to impact my future. It's gone well, but I will tell you, knowing their MOs has made me wildly more mindful of how to deal with them and work with them. A-to-A comparison has been a great tool. We've been in use at Natixis for about 1.5 years. It's an awesome tool. To get a tool that tells you the best thing you can do with this person is this, the worst thing you can do is this. Often I found myself with both initiating fact finders saying things like, well, you don't have to make a decision right now. Feel free to give me your thoughts later, but think about it, get it in your wheelhouse, and let's talk about it in a few days. But I really would like a decision by the end of next Friday. That would be most helpful for what we're doing. The second part of my life, I think I'm very mindful, is been at Natixis. Natixis obviously is a great company. I've been there for 8 years. We're a global asset management company, so we manage money for institutions, private individuals. Probably the biggest mode of how we distribute our mutual funds is through wholesalers, a sales force of about 115 people now, but through distributors, third-party distributors like financial advisors. So not unlike the consultants you have at Kolbe, we have a team of people, but we also work through broker-dealers, Merrill Lynch, UBS, Morgan Stanley, Raymond James, LPL. We have about 30 major partners now. I don't know exact number, but I want to say we've done over 3,000 indexes in the 8 years I've been at the company, and it could be higher because we've never really counted them all and kept track of them. But it's been a three-part process because initially we primarily just used the Kolbe A index with advisors, and then over time our wholesalers said, "Wow, this is really great." And at Natixis we have in a senior leadership team we have, I think, 6 of the 8 are initiating fact finders. One's an accommodating quick start, and all the others are resistant quick starts. Most accommodate and follow through. We have one initiating follow through, and just until recently, we have one resistant follow through and one initiating quick start. Otherwise, it is an initiating fact finder, resistant quick start kind of audience. And you can imagine trying to adopt a thing like Kolbe, where they've used other tools in the years. So it took a long time to get to the point where in-house we were using Kolbe for everybody, and then we would even now using it in the hiring process in a limited basis, but more and more. We use A's and B's now. We've done C's to help educate and hire our internal consultants who go on to be regional directors, who go on to be MRDs. And in the studying of the C's that all the managers did on that position, they realized the person they were hiring to be, basically our talent pool, who was going to go from one role to the next, the C that all the managers wanted for the jobs were all different for the 3 different positions. But it was the exact same person who was going to fill those 3 roles. And really, really, really difficult. And the B that they created, we only have about 5 of those people in the entire company. accommodating fact finders, initiating follow-throughs, initiating quick starts. It's just not an MO we have a lot of. I'd say probably one of the things I'm most proud of within Natixis internally is once we did an event for about 55 people in our marketing group, 4 people came back in transition, and I said to our program administrator, I said, Jen, please get me the names and the numbers of the bosses that these 4 people have. Well, she emailed me back 1 name and 1 phone number. And I said, no, Jen, being a quick start, I need the other 3. Not to real, and then she emailed me back, well, all of them work for the same person. Yeah, I was like, wow. And then I talked to the EVP, Mark Doyle. I said, hey, what if I told you you had one person who have 4 people? And he stopped me. And he said, I know who it is. And it was wildly validating for everybody within Natixis and the senior management team. And it wasn't a widely publicized thing, obviously, but the senior management team knew about it. Mark knew about it. And they were like, wow, this is amazing. We need to be using this more. Why haven't we? And I'm really proud of that, because I really believe, had it not been for me and slowly working in the system and success stories and keeping at it, that wouldn't have happened. Another area that Kolbe's been a huge thing for me has been privately. I flunked out of Navy SEAL training when I was 22. I got orders that said on or about June 1 report, and being the 4 in fact finder and the 5 in quick follow through, boy, I just showed up June 1, never stopped to ask anybody what on or about June 1 meant, got there June 1, and spent about 2 months in training I didn't need to be in. I had already been a marathon runner, was in great shape, didn't need any extra practice or warm-ups. And BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, is one of those places you don't want to be there longer than you have to be. It's kind of like prison. Well, I don't know what prison's like, but I'm assuming it's like that. And in fact, most of the other officers showed up around July 20th, a good 7 weeks after I got there. And my body at that point was already beaten and bruised and damaged and broken. And I'm not saying I would have graduated from SEAL training had I known my MO and had I forced to work against my grain of my foreign fact finder. But boy, I think I would have had a better opportunity of success had I known that. My mother's a mediator. My mother bought a car recently and had to call everybody in the family to make sure they were okay with the car she was buying. And it's been really, really helpful for her to understand why she always wants everybody to be happy. And it's not because she's an Italian mother. It's because she's a facilitator, mediator. And now that she knows that about herself, it just has really helped her understand some of the things she's done in her life. I also have an identical twin. He's in the fabrication sheet metal business. He accommodates an implementer. I'm a 3-in implementer. And it's not surprising to me that that's the kind of business he has, and that's what he does. And now when he's at my house, I have all sorts of little things for him to help me fix and do at the house. And lastly, and the most importantly, I wouldn't have gotten married had I not known my wife's MO. And jokingly, I said to her, hey, I'd love you to take this index thingy. And she's, you want me to take a blood test? I said, no, not a blood test. This is a cognitive index, which helps measures the instinctive way that you do things. And frankly, marriage is hard enough. I don't know that I want to be married to someone that has, where we have cognitive stress between us. And lo and behold, my wife is a 6'3", 8'3". I'm a 4'5", 8'3". And we have a lot of fun with our MOs and really see the world similarly. Brainstorm a lot about our future and future plans, and it's awesome. But I think in total, in those 3 areas, it just made such a difference in my life. And it's never more validating to me and exciting to me when I'm with clients and I have someone come up to me afterwards and hug me and say, oh my God, I'm so excited to know what you've told me. At times I've always felt like I should be doing this differently, or I need to be more organized. And I always tell them I'm not giving them a Kolbe cop-out, but the idea that it's as validating to them. And I know the people listening to this, you all get this. That's why you do what you do. But for me, it's just been extraordinary. And I think what I like to tell people about Kathy and everybody at Kolbe Corp is you've been a nightingale for me. And I think some of you have heard me tell this story that I give a talk about flunking out of SEAL training, and one of the big questions that came of that, one of three, is who is your nightingale, or what are your nightingales in life? And that idea came to me by a guy named Robert Timberg. And Timberg is the author of a wonderful book called The Nightingale Song. And this metaphor for him is that when a nightingale needs to sing, it needs to hear the song of another nightingale. If it doesn't, if it hears a robin or a wren, it won't croak a note. If it hears a nightingale, it just bursts into beautiful music. I remember applying to Harvard, to the Kennedy School, and basically said that I wanted Harvard to be my nightingale. That I had all these kind of thoughts in my heart and my mind, three parts of the mind, if you will, and I needed someone to tie them together for me. And they did, and to some degree, but Kathy, you have to a big degree. You have been the loudest nightingale for me, and as all the other folks at your company continue on in building off of what you've developed and built with Right Fit and Range of Success and, you name it, team tactics, A to A's, all of the tools that have come of the overarching theories and philosophy, this idea of being free to be you, knowing who you are, being self-aware so you can sing your music and do it in the most freeing way possible has been pretty powerful. And I'm really honored to share it with people around the world, proud to share it with people in my family and with the Texas and with the Navy. And I have a little boy who's going to be born in the next, hopefully, 4 or 5 days, and I cannot wait to know his MO so I can communicate with him so much better and guide him to use what he uses. So from me to all of you, thank you for what you do, and we'd be honored to represent you in any way we can. Be well.